Previously on Backpacker Diaries.
It's going to be our first full day on the Appalachian Trail. Came up on a little salamander. Hey, little guy. And there's the biggest snake I've seen in a while.
Didn't know what happened till I felt the thunder underground. Didn't hear the warnings, didn't heed the signs. Next thing that I know, my life was turning topsy upside down. Can I fight it? Or will I fear it? Oh, just let it happen.
It's June 23rd. We left the Tom Leonard shelter a little bit ago. Great view from the platform, the tent platform there, but we would have enjoyed it more without probably our heaviest mosquitoes so far of the trip, as well as a steep, rigorous descent, quarter-mile descent to the water source.
Wouldn't have been so objectionable if we hadn't already hiked 14 miles.
Indeed, indeed. But yeah, we're ready for a night off from the bugs and the sweat. Gonna try to get into the East Mountain Retreat Center. It's just coming up shortly here, west of the trail on the way into Great Barrington. So we'll see how we go. Today is June 24th, 2017. We're outside of Great Barrington and we took a night off from the elements. It's June 25th, 2017. I ended up taking an extra day in Great Barrington and staying a second night at the East Mountain Retreat Center because I left my hiking poles at the laundromat down in town, but got them back, as you can see. So that's good news. Anthony hiked ahead north to the next shelter or campsite. We kind of had to slow the A train down on our way north here in Massachusetts because of our mail pickup in Tyringham and the post office, of course, being closed on Sunday. I'm planning to meet him tonight at the Shaker campsite, which is the closest campsite to Tyringham, where we'll be picking up some mail tomorrow. Today is June 26th, 2017. And I went about 9 miles yesterday. Came across some great trail magic thanks to 44. So sending a shout out to 44 for that trail magic. After I make the pickup in Tyringham, I've got about 9 miles to go today to the Goose Pond cabin, not including the stop in Tyringham.
100 kisses left the trail of wet and wanting more. 1,000 touches burning on my skin. Next thing that I know, 10,000 heartbeats pounding at the door. I cannot fight it, I will not fear it. Oh, I'm gonna let it, just let it happen.
Today is June 27th, and I'm here at Upper Goose Pond, not far from the cabin. The cabin was full by the time I got here. The bunks are mostly reserved for the thru hikers coming through. And yeah, definitely a lot of people here. It's a popular place to stop and spend some extra time. They've got canoes that are available. I got to take a swim in Upper Goose Pond here, and it was surprisingly warm and very refreshing. I wish I had time to do that every day on the trail, but I'll take advantage when I can. I just enjoyed some pancakes. The rumors are true that when the host is here, there is a pancake and coffee breakfast, which was quite a treat. Quite a unique spot here as far as the Appalachian Trail goes. Today I've got roughly another 10 miles or so to get to October Mountain before meeting up with Anthony tomorrow in Dalton. So I'm just going to bandage up my toes. Got some blisters going on that need some attention so they don't get worse. So I'm going to take care of that and hit the trail and see how it goes.
Like the monsters beneath my bed, like the whispers in the dark, like the shadows in my head, like the beating of my heart. Oh, I just
Made it to the October Mountain shelter here, and sharing the tent camping area with a Canadian trail runner named Nick. No other campers here though. Found out after I set up my tent that there's a lady a couple miles north of here that gives out cookies and lets thru hikers camp in her yard, but that's alright. The group of hikers headed there, sounding pretty loud, and probably would rather not camp next to them anyway, so I'm happy in the campground here. Tomorrow I'll be meeting up with the other half of the A-team in Dalton, where he has a room already. Looking forward to catching up with him. Today is June 27th. I headed out northbound from the October Mountain shelter, and sure enough, the rumors were true. The cookie lady was there, just off of the road that leads into Pittsville, Massachusetts. So I was lucky enough to be offered a couple of cookies. After being anointed with a trail name like Famous Amos, I've had a few people asking me for cookies out here on the trail. So it's nice to have somebody offer me cookies this time around. She also had some hard-boiled eggs for sale and some other snacks. Those eggs led to probably the saltiest batch of egg salad I've ever had. That was definitely a treat, for I'm running a little low on food on my way into Dalton, Massachusetts. Just coming up on a bear here outside of Dalton. He may have run all the way off. There he is. Right up on the trail there. Looks like he's going northbound too.
Didn't know what hit me till I found myself down on the floor. Didn't know what tripped me up or laid me out.
Having just crossed paths with a bear, I now cross paths with a snail. Safe to say I'm going a little faster than this guy, with everything he needs right up on his back there.
I will not, I cannot fight it, no, no. I just let it, oh, gonna let it. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Today's June 29th, and finally caught up with Anthony yesterday here at the Shamrock Village Inn in Dalton. Go A-team. Today we're looking at a longer day, getting a little bit of a later start than we would want due to the post office hours. They're not opening until 8:30 here in Dalton, but yeah, we'll cruise over and take care of what we need to bounce ahead, and then yeah, hit the trail and look forward to a shelter north of Cheshire on our way to Williamstown. Got a nice little view looking down onto Cheshire, I guess?
Maybe.
Maybe. Or west of Cheshire.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the Housatonic.
Getting our Hoosie fix. There's also a snake chilling here. Anthony's known for being a bit of a snake charmer. So maybe the snake's coming over to say hello to Anthony, also known as Fairy Dust. Almost to Mount Greylock, and came across this pond area here with lots of frogs. Lots of flies too. We made it most of the way through Massachusetts, and we're at the top of the highest point in Massachusetts now, Mount Greylock.
Yeah, and the highest we've been so far on this trip.
3,400 feet and change above sea level.
Of course,
So-
there's a road here, and a parking lot,
Yeah.
and a lodge with a tasty chicken parmesan sandwich.
And clam chowder as well. But yeah, we're 140 something miles in after a couple weeks, a little over more than a couple weeks. What would you say about the Massachusetts portion of the trail compared to Connecticut, say?
Compared to Connecticut, we certainly had more views, I'd say, long-range views from the summit. The terrain has been maybe a little bit easier. It's been a lot more like long stretches of just kind of like flat or rolling country versus the, I don't know, seemed like constant up and down and like really rugged climbs and descents that Connecticut treated us to.
I noticed that the line chosen through Massachusetts didn't necessarily take you up over all like the highest points. Like even this morning on the way to Greylock, we seemed to be kind of steering clear of the very highest route that one could take. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Lots of pretty like low country too, like, well, not necessarily low, but kind of boggy areas, and yeah, like open pastures.
A lot more pastures. That was great. Yeah, I've really been enjoying just the differences of the Appalachian Trail. What makes the Appalachian Trail different from other long trails or short trails for that matter. I mean, whether it be the network of shelters that are established, a chain of shelters that's spaced, 10 or less
miles
miles
apart,
yeah.
generally.
Not only that, but just the trail registers as well. That's not something that I typically see out west, outside of maybe the trail register at the trailhead where the Forest Service might be monitoring the use. So that's a treat, sort of seeing where your fellow hikers are at, and if they had lunch there yesterday or whatever is pretty neat to see that. And then of course, just the supportive trail community. It seems like every other day, if not every day, there's some form of trail magic. Especially, I'm thinking of 44, left some stuff a couple days ago. Yeah, you're not going to see that so much on the Continental Divide Trail or other long trails. So I'm definitely savoring those aspects and the social aspect too.
Yeah, it's kind of neat hitting a different town every few days and kind of checking out different places along the way. The temptation to spend money in restaurants and nicer accommodations is kind of hard to avoid.
We even visited 2 different post offices yesterday.
That's true.
In 2 different towns. We've had a couple days that have been 14 milers, including yesterday. So we're getting more and more comfortable with the double-digit mileage days. Today we're planning to cruise into Williamstown and maybe even get into Vermont as soon as tomorrow. Safe to say that we've really enjoyed the Appalachian Trail so far here in Massachusetts.
Totally agree. Just keeps getting better. Cheers, Massachusetts.
That's the A-Team signing off for now. See you next time.
On the next Backpacker Diaries.
Just crossed over the border here between Massachusetts and Vermont. I snagged the last spot in the shelter.
11 o'clock at night they get up and they just have a river running under their tent.
Most people woke up to 2 inches of water in their tent. Safe to say that this has been the most challenging part of the trail so far.
Seeming like we're kind of in the bubble.
Just because it's dark don't mean it's night. Just because it shines don't mean that it's light.